Here's some highlights from a recent visit to Yakima to champion the efforts of the Union Gospel Mission, but first, let's take a look at her memorable visit to our CBY TV studios. I know you're a humble person and you wouldn't, rattle off all this stuff, but I'm going to. I just want to let our viewers know a little bit about your background, but I'm going to read it right here. Star Parker is the founder and president of CURE, and CURE is the Coalition on Urban Renewal Education. Yeah. It's a 501c3 nonprofit think tank that provides a national voice of reason on issues of race and poverty in the media, inner city neighborhoods, and public policy. As I'm reading through this, Jesse Lee Peterson comes to mind. I'm sure, yep, I bet he is. And we'll talk a little bit about your background, how you got to there. But right now, for our viewers, you've probably seen Star on TV. I know I've seen her many times, but she gives regular testimony before the United States Congress, is a national expert on major television radio shows across the country. Currently, you're on CNN, CNBC, CBN, Fox News, BBC. The only one that I think is more liberal than MSNBC would be BBC. It is, but one of the reasons that I continuously do the BBC is because it's one of the only networks in some of these Arab and hard third world countries. The only network, really? 300 billion, I think they say, is their potential audience. So although I'm the lone voice, I think it's important to share Christianity in places we can't go. You're the voice of reason. Yeah. You've also debated Jesse Jackson on BET. Boy, I would love to have seen that. If you have any copies of that, can you give? You've fought for school choice on Larry King's show. You've defended welfare reform on Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. You currently are a syndicated columnist writing op-eds for over 400 newspapers worldwide. Well, I only have to write for one. I write for Scripps Howard, and then they distribute it. So, but you've been on your story from, and it says transformation from welfare fraud to conservative crusader. Talk for a minute about the importance of this coming election on the judges, the possibility of 2 more Supreme Court, and unfortunately now the Supreme Court is the gods of our land. It's not the balance of power anymore. No. So tell us about how important this election is. Well, it's only about that. Everyone, especially the media. Why is it that religious right just won't lay off on abortion? This is settled law. No, the court is what's at stake. We can talk about all these other issues and we want freedom, but when you have a body that now determines what law is, we have to make sure that that law is reflective of God's worldview.
We are fortunate tonight to have with us our guest speaker, Star Parker. Debbie and I were fortunate enough to listen to her when we were at a convention, and when you hear somebody be able to express their heart in a very passionate way and have the gift to do that vocally, you snap it to attention and you listen, and we've heard some really amazing things from Star. She is representing a side that isn't often heard in the media, and the truth is we need more conservative voices. She is certainly one of those, and she has the opportunity as a lady who has certainly felt the sting of poverty and knows what it means to be there. So Star, why don't you come up, and we'll just ask that the Lord uses you tonight as you share with us.
Rick asked me earlier today at lunch, he said, so what exactly is a think tank? What is it that you do? And I said, well, a lot of us just sit around and think about things in Washington. There are more than just legislators and lawyers and lobbyists there. There are also us thinkers. And I happen to think about poverty. And one of the things that I think about in poverty is how we get the government out of the poverty business and get God's people back in. And so, and the reason I started thinking about that is because of my own personal journey and how I even got into that work and was able to consult on the federal welfare bill. But as I was telling them down in Texas when I first met a couple of folks from your mission, that I am one that didn't think much about homelessness and what has happened in our society to see so many people that are just lost in their lives. I should have been thinking about it a little bit because it actually touches me personally. My brother lives on the street in Sacramento. I actually even met one of the directors from Sacramento, and then the ones that are here with you today, Roger and Rick, they used to be there in Sacramento where my brother lives on the street on a regular basis, and I know that he is getting the word of the Lord and the meal of Christ and just that warm heart that you do here and that we have people doing all across this wonderful, amazing land of ours.
To catch all of it, be watching for A Christian Viewpoint here on CBY TV. How about the team of Palin and Parker for president in 2012?